You know, you guys, speaking as a neutral NFL fan, I think it's pretty safe to say that one of the more entertaining teams we're going to be able to watch this year is undoubtedly the Denver Broncos. Because aside from going all in at the quarterback position and acquiring Russell Wilson in one of the craziest blockbuster trades the league has ever seen, they definitely didn't stop here in terms of improving their team. Because along with this and the hiring of new head coach Nathaniel Hackett, they were also able to bring in some key free agents such as Randy Gregory, DJ Jones, bringing back Josey Jewell, and even Kwan Williams to improve the team. But aside from all these big moves the Broncos made to bring in new faces into the organization, in my opinion at least, the craziest and most exciting part about this Broncos team is something the NFL has been expecting to happen over the last couple of years, and if what we're talking about does happen, Bronco fans are going to be in for quite the treat. One sec though guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to never miss another NFL video. Love you guys. We're going to be coming out with brand new NFL content every single week around here as the season goes on, so just believe me when I say it, you do not want to miss out. But anyway, let's get back on topic with the Denver Broncos, who I think it's safe to say if they were known for anything over their campaign last year, it would absolutely be because of their defense. And even for further reference to this, they actually had the third best ranked defense in the league last season while allowing the second least points per game at 18.9. And while they're projected again to be a top 10 defense this season, this side of the ball clearly isn't going to change much. Because what everyone is talking about, not just in Denver but across the entire league, is what the new look and completely revamped offense under the helm of Russell Wilson alongside Nathaniel Hackett is going to look like. And according to reports at least, it seems that ever since training camp has begun, the two have been firing on all cylinders as they go forward. And I mean, I think it's clear as day at this point for anyone watching that if you were to add Russell Wilson to almost any team across the league in a similar situation to what the Denver Broncos are right now, that he would only raise the potential of that given offense's capabilities. And this can just be emphasized even more when you're comparing Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos' prior quarterbacks of Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. I have absolutely nothing against either one of them, but I think you know what I mean. And then getting into Russ's new wide receiver core and some guys we'll see this year, such as Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, and also Kendall Hinton. While some of these guys, speaking of Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy in particular, have definitely had solid starts to their careers thus far, it's very safe to say that these two have never been put in a situation like they're going to see this year, and the results of finally being paired with a competent quarterback could truly take this offense to the next level, and let's talk about why. And to start this conversation, it definitely needs to go in the direction of the man himself, Courtland Sutton. Because for Broncos fans, I feel like this is the guy you've been watching since 2018 slowly grow and develop into what you would think would be your superstar wide receiver one day, but the problem's been he's just never had a quarterback to get him the ball consistently. And through his 3 full years played, he has definitely had some solid numbers across the board, but I think it can be said that one of Sutton's biggest holdbacks in his career thus far has been quarterbacks' inability to hit him on the deep ball. For example of this, let's take a look at the Broncos' passer rating on attempts 20 plus yards down the field last year, which was 67.3, ranking 20th across the league. And do you guys want to know what the Seahawks ranking with Russell Wilson was on this? Well, it was 116.8, ranking first in the NFL. If Sutton's first completion from Russell Wilson isn't a bomb down the field in week 1, I'm gonna be upset. And then taking a look at last year's numbers, where Courtland Sutton and Tim Patrick were relatively split in terms of who was getting targeted the most. While the Tim Patrick injury is obviously something that nobody wants, it could just lead a little bit more into Courtland Sutton potentially becoming one of the premier receivers in the league. And if you were curious at all if the Russ to Courtland connection was going smoothly thus far, most of the reports coming out of training camp and practice indicate that Courtland Sutton has already become the clear-cut favorite of Russell Wilson. And this shouldn't really come as much of a surprise because I'm sure you guys have seen the comparisons on social media of Courtland Sutton to DK Metcalf, and yeah, they're pretty similar, so I don't see any issues whatsoever unfolding with Russ getting him the ball. But then, even aside from Courtland Sutton, you cannot forget about third-year wideout Jerry Jeudy, who, to be honest with you, I cannot even believe some of the things that I've been hearing about him, more so referring to the fact that people are already questioning if he's a bust. And I get it, while his first 2 years in the league definitely weren't anything crazy, and they were even probably below the expectations of most Broncos fans, but I don't think I can word it any simpler in this situation when I say he just needs to be cut some slack. Because aside from poor quarterback play, as we've already mentioned, I think most people easily forget that while he's going into his third year in the league, he is still just 23 years old. Because typically with young wide receivers, it does take them a few years to develop. I mean, you see that same situation with some of the top receivers in the game today. And also, to touch back on the Tim Patrick injury, while he has outperformed Jerry Jeudy in his first 2 years in the league, it just adds more into the opportunity in case to be made that this can be the year Jerry Jeudy finally takes that next step into what everyone believes he can be. I know it's probably not much to be said, but I'm sure you guys have seen some of the clips coming out of Broncos practice and training camp with Russ working with Jeudy and Sutton. While we won't really know what we have in store until the season hits us, it's looking much more promising for the Broncos than it has in years past, I'll leave it at that. But even aside from these top two, getting into guys like KJ Hamler, Kendall Hinton, and even rookie Montrell Washington, it's very clear that one or two of these guys are gonna have to be the next man up, so it's curious to see how that's gonna unfold before we hit the regular season as well. And then we can't even forget about Albert Akwegbonum, the new tight end one for Russell Wilson, who I'll be honest with you, I think can be one of the biggest surprises from this Broncos team if Russ and Hackett are able to utilize the tight end position. However, it's all speculation at this point. We've seen through the numbers over the last few years, the pieces of this Broncos offense slowly be developing as time goes on, but they haven't really had much to show for it. So will Russ be the missing piece in all of this? I guess we'll just have to wait until the season hits us. But of course, with all of this, I am also extremely curious to hear what you guys have to think about this situation. So please let me know in the comments, do you think that Russell Wilson is finally going to push Courtland Sutton to be one of the definitive best receivers across the entire league? And also, what are your expectations for Jerry Jeudy this year, and even just your thoughts on him in general? But again, you guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to go down below and drop a like on the video if you did enjoy, and of course, subscribe while you're down there. We just kicked off this channel, but believe me, we're going to be coming out with brand new NFL content every single week as the season goes on, so trust me on this, you do not want to miss out. But also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you out there for watching. I appreciate you all more than anything, you all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.